Hey guys, it's your girl Kizzy Rock, and yes, Kizzy Rock is my birth given name. Happy second or third recording on this Monday. So I want to say hey to all my subscribers, new as well as season. I got a word for you. Pretty deep word, pretty deep topics. If this is for you, you will know it. It will be clear as day. And I want to share this. I just got off a session with someone, and it got really, really deep. And again, I always feel like if one person is going through something, then someone else is. So I like to always kind of just piggyback and just bring it to my YouTube. So I'm going to start with, let's start with kingdom spouses really quickly and these attacks. All right. So not just waiting on the blessing of a kingdom spouse or purpose partner, just in general, meaning whatever you're waiting on in general, if it's a blessing, if it's from God, there's going to be attacks prior to it being released. It's all related to just really trying to get you to abort the whole process so you do not achieve the blessing. If blessings were just handed out and there was no warfare behind it, I think everyone would be on cloud nine with blessings just overtaking them 24 hours a day. Most people don't see their destiny and see, a lot of their blessings because, again, when that warfare hits, people give up. It's literally a street fight. You can get tired. That's fine. You will get tired, right? You may even get knocked down, literally, but you got to get back up. But I want to say this right here because this young lady who I was speaking to, the way she described the attack you were going through, in different forms. She said she's never been the one who ever had nightmares, like never, even in childhood, she's never had dreams or nightmares. But lately, she's getting very demonic nightmares. And a lot of other things that she described that she's going through, right? So the more and more she talked and I listened, it hit me clear as day that she had some people, demonic forces warring in the spirit against her. Of course, the demonic realm, but intentional people around her. What a lot of people don't realize is this right here. When you are waiting on a purpose partner or a kingdom spouse, right? There's other people involved currently. So they may even be dating someone else. They could have soul ties. It just could be some, them doing what they do, right? All right. Got these people. You also have friends who, may mean them no good. And I'm not even speaking about like homeboys who are trying to put them on to girls. I'm talking about like literally behind the scenes plotting to try to, do all some craziness to them and just really trying to ruin their lives intentionally. Well, these people are already around them. So in the spiritual realm, these people feel the tension that they're about to be removed, meaning they can feel it, that they're shifting out. They can feel that this person is really starting to be aware of who they really are and that they're really truly not the right one to begin with. So they feel that shift coming on and that they're about to be shifted out, including the friends or any other family members who may just be demonic forces or people who were never ordained to be in their lives in general. So be very careful when you're out here speaking and telling others, even some of your closest friends, that you know this specific person and you're calling names is my purpose partner, is my kingdom spouse. This is why silence is so important. But what happens is a lot of people get so giddy and they're so excited because God have already given you certain downloads. And it's like you're telling your friend just out of excitement. You're telling, I know this person. And you don't even realize that some of the people you're telling in general may just be speaking in general to someone else. And before you know it, words have circulated right? First of all, the demonic realm already heard it because you're speaking it. But words has already circulated back in the physical realm to others. So now you got the people who's already connected to your peoples putting all kind of black magic on you from afar. From afar. You don't even realize that the warfare, some of the warfare that you're really going through is people who are warring against you in the demonic realm because you are verbally speaking things out loud and you're speaking to other people before this thing even manifests. Yesterday in Mordecai Mission with Pastor R.C. Blix, we were talking about this. And see, this is, if I'm honest with you, if someone would have had this conversation with me 5 years ago, well, I'll say 7 to 10 years ago, I would have really thought they were crazy. I would have thought, listen, I would have said, just take them to the crazy house, to the nut house, because your mind has not elevated to the spiritual realm yet. Once you have allowed God to really come into your life by inviting him with quiet time, with fasting, praying, however you connect to the spiritual realm, you can see within the spiritual realm clear as day. But someone's mind who hasn't elevated there yet, and they're just still, on just everyday level, not saying anything's wrong with that, but they won't get it. They won't understand it. They'll think you crazy. And you're looking at them like, how could you not even see what's really going? It's clear as day. You can feel the shift. You can feel the warring. You can feel, you can feel it. But only you can feel it because you're at that level and you're going higher. The higher you go, the more you see, right? Just for example, like I talk about with the concert, the tragic concert, like you have some people who are just still viewing these videos and just seeing it as, oh, well, I mean, it's just a stampede. They can't even see how this thing is literally demonic in the spiritual realm and what God is doing. A lot of things are collapsing to the point of no return. But anyway, so be very, very careful about speaking so much. Thank God I've always been a private person, so that's not a struggle for me. But some of you with all these different friends and you're just, you like to share your excitement and you assume everyone is just going to be happy for you. And you probably do have some friends who are genuinely happy for you. But again, every friend has another friend. So close your mouth. Whatever God is telling you, no matter how excited you get, that's between you and God. Until he tells you to speak. Until it manifests. And it still needs to be private then. Truth be told. So that is what I wanted to talk about with these attacks. Because there's different kind of attacks. But the way she described her attacks. Listen, you got some petty chicks out here, Well, dudes too. But you got some petty chicks out here now. If they really feel like they're about to lose something, you think they have nothing else to offer, right? So let's just say, she was chose because of looks, body, and all that stuff, right? Solely. But in this realm, God is moving things together spiritually. Purpose, kingdom people together. So she knows she's about to be pushed out. But all she have is looks and body. She have nothing else. She have no intellect. She's not even tapped in spiritually. Nothing. So what's going to keep her there? What's going to help her feel like she is solidified there? Nothing. But what she does know, or what he does know, is that they can't give up their not for you. So now they want to try all kind of stuff against you. Somebody just got that. Let's jump on to why were you rejected? All right. Definitely my chosen ones. Yeah. So many of you are here. Again, you've been rejected. misunderstood, labeled, all the stuff, very early on in life. People's rejection is God protection. So I want to talk about a few things. Those of you who were rejected by certain family members, maybe just didn't fit in with the family, or it could have been one sibling who just, wanted you out, right? Or you just could have had a narcissist parent, whatever. You were rejected by the family. You didn't fit in. It didn't make any sense. You went through hell. That's family, meaning those are like the first people who have access to you. So wouldn't it be smart for Satan to attempt to get the people who have first access to you to start trying to ruin your life by planting seeds early on? I was in this meeting a couple of weeks ago. I'll never forget it. It was a lady who was speaking. She may have been in her, I don't know, I'm guessing 50s, 60s. Very educated, very, very well-spoken. But very, not even meek in the sense of like shy, but almost like ashamed, embarrassed, kind of like head down, not even know how to just come into who she authentically is. So when she was speaking, she was just saying how, people just made her feel so horrible all of her life very early on because, she was chosen different and they didn't understand that. So she always knew that she was gifted, but because she was pretty much forced to bury her head in sand, rather than rise up and really be her true authentic self. Even later on in life now, she still have not tapped into her true authentic purpose and calling. In fact, she still has that very, I'm trying to think of a word, demeanor where she's just very, very, almost still like a little girl. And I remember looking at her and I could see the light so bright through her. And I could see clear as day how God wanted to use her, right? Even now. But of course, that would be her process of trying to unpack all that stuff that had been placed on her. So that's a process that she would have to, but I could physically look at her and saw the glow was so there. And I was like, this is a person who is so gifted. This is a person that God can use in so many different ways. And there's a possibility, hopefully, that she will never get to the point that that God really wanted her. A lot of people don't arrive to their full potential because, again, it's very intense. The work is very intense, and you literally have to have that gruffness and that mindset of determination. And I don't care what people say. I'm going to keep climbing. But that takes a certain type of, and a lot of people don't have it because they were already silenced very, very early on, very, very young. So I thank God every day that I wasn't that person. I was always okay with being different. Always. And that kind of gave me a leg up. But I thank God because now I realize, my chosen ones, a lot of the things that you had to go through, meaning being misunderstood and things like that, you needed that. You needed that foundation. You needed to be rejected because where God is taking you, the shift is here. Where God is taking you and however way he's going to use you, everybody will be used differently. But ultimately, for his glory, however God is going to use you, if you think the rejection, the betrayal, the hurt, the pain that you went through in childhood was tough, wait till you get to the other side. But because you already have that foundation built, right? You've already been through that. So you pretty much probably have already, you're immune to it at this point. Or you don't even care. Are you like me? You just don't even care. It's like, it is what it is. Say what you say, keep it moving. I know I am. Go find yourself, right? So because you already been through it, then you got this. Because those same people who hurt you and rejected you and all that stuff. If you notice, because it's happening now, definitely on my end and probably on your end. And if it's not happening now, you're going to see it happening soon. Because these same folks who didn't understand you because of their own limited thinking at the time, they see where God is taking you. So your messengers, however they're going to find you, they might fly a kite around the world looking for you. They're going to try to be connecting with you. Oh, I remember you from childhood and I always knew you were different and I always knew you would be doing great things, right? It's going to be that type of conversation, right? Or like, oh, I used to be around this group of people and they used to talk about you, but I would always stand up from you, knowing that they were the one, right? To create the nonsense. So now they're trying to connect with you. And what's going to happen is this. Because your spiritual senses are open, you know what time it is, right? So you might smile or you might say, hey, girl, right? But that's that. That's that. You can't get no past that. Remember, they've shown you who they are. So now, when God advances you further and then they realize like there is no way that I can apologize to this person or try to make it right where I can get in where I fit in, betrayal happens again. Oh, well, I can't blackmail them for a Bentley. So let me go ahead and make up some more stories. You feel me? But remember, you've already been through that. So you see how strategic God is? You had to be rejected. You had to be misunderstood. You had to be hurt. You had to go through all that. Because God was processing us all along and we didn't even know it. We were too caught up on the hurt, the pain. How could someone who's supposed to love me treat me like this? How could someone... We're caught up in that. We didn't know any better. And now we know it was our Judas. So now we embrace it. And now it's like, bring it on. Bring it on. Because I no longer have to fight for me. Right? But be very, very careful. Touch not what? Be very, very, very careful when you're playing up with God's people. That's all I'm going to tell you. You had to be rejected in that relationship or that marriage. Why? Many reasons. That same person who you beg to have back. Ooh, child. I just had a flashback. Okay. Let me tell you. Now you look back and be like, what the hell was I thinking? Like, girl, you were the prize all along and didn't even know it. All along, you've been the prize. You've been that. But you could not even realize who you were because you weren't tapped in spiritually yet. Sorry, guys. You probably hear my dog licking her, drinking her water. I'm sorry. So you're begging. Well, that ain't me now. I don't know who that is because I ain't never been the begging chick, right? But my point is, you're begging that dude to come back, and all along, God is literally one, saving your life or saved your life in more ways than one. In more ways than one. Two, if you would have married that fool or that child of God, we're going to say, because we're going to keep it classy, you would have never, ever connected with your kingdom spouse and your purpose partners. even if they haven't been released yet. If you had married that fool, you would, that child of God, you would have never connected with your kingdom partners, which in turn will take your life and advance it further. So you would have still been stuck there in that mediocre level. So they had to reject you. It had to happen. And now Satan is in your head telling you, well, you're 54 and you ain't got a man. You're 54 and you're a divorcee. And you really believe that. You really believe Satan's lie. You really believe you're 54 and no one would ever want you. You believe that. And God got a whole for you waiting, just for your mind to catch up with it. For your mind to catch up with your spirit. So you can really believe it, because God is not going to. Pastor Blake said that yesterday in Malachi Mission. You will never manifest something until you believe it. You can say it all day long. Right now, I'm too blessed to be stressed. People like to say that. I'm too blessed to be stressed, and what's for me is for me. Yeah, but do you believe it? When you say it, do you believe it? And without a doubt, we're human. So we're going to have those little times where it's like, oh, especially when you don't see it, you ain't really see it coming through quick enough, right? But that should not be a lifestyle. That might be a moment, and then you catch that into the blood of Jesus, and you're a liar. I call you onto your face. It's mine, point blank, period. Point blank, period. So your mind has to get caught up with your spirit and to know that what God has for you is for you. But if Satan's up in your head and you're not casting down these thoughts, you're going to sit here and really believe that you're 54 and you're going to sit on your rocking chair with your Mary Janes and start knitting something at 54. Child, if you don't get up at that. Y'all know I'm crazy. So yes, that man had to reject you. So boo, it had nothing to do with you. It had nothing to do with you weren't fine enough. Your body wasn't banging enough. And the other chick it had nothing to do with you per se. It was all about God's plan. That job had to fire you. You had to be rejected. Because if you did not, you would have spent 90 years at a job, miserable, just working for a paycheck, just to pay bills. And God done told you, us, all of us, I speak, when I say you, I mean just all of us in general. God already told you a long time ago to leave the job. But Satan's up in your head. Well, you done got old. Ain't nobody gonna hire you. If you leave this job, you may not like the other one. So you didn't move. You didn't leave. So God snatched your rug. And now you're on the floor crying. Why would God? Well, he been told you to leave a long time ago. He's trying to give you better. He wants you to start that business. And he know that you won't take a step out on faith until he snatched the rug. So he snatched the rug because he wants you to start that business. You got to force your hand a little bit. He got another job for you. Maybe he wants you to retire. And he's going to use somebody to come in and open the door for you and bless your life so you can really be aligned with purpose of having this nonprofit of a organization that's going to help elderly people, help widows, and help orphanage. This is literally a faith walk. You just can't see it unless you're a visionary like myself. And even then, I mean, you don't see everything, but it gives you more that nudge to keep putting one foot in front of the other, because you can see it a little more clear per se than someone else with other gifts. It literally is a faith walk. If God has spoken it to you, not you now, Not you. Because see, we want to sit here and pick things and pick people, and then we want God to get behind our plan. No, 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 no. I don't work like that. Now, one thing that I've learned that is so true, that God will give you the desires of your heart. However, what I've learned is this. It's not so much that he will give us our desires. He changed your desires. Because there's things now that I desire that I would never have desired years ago. So it's true. He changes our thinking and our mindsets, and it aligns with his desires. And then he does give us those desires because it's aligned properly. So life, from what I've learned so far, is that life is way more smooth sailing when you are in alignment with God's will. When we out here doing things ourselves, we going against the grain. Oh Lord, whoo, child. So I'm going to end this by saying this right here. There's so many of you who are about to be shifted in acceleration, and it may not make sense to you and how it's going to happen. It can be a door. Do you know one person can change your life? One person can change your life. But you got to see it. So if God has spoken it to you, and even if you can't see it, you just got to believe it. You got to believe it. You got to be careful about allowing people to get into your heads and changing your thought process on what you saw. Close your beautiful little mouth. When people, think about it, you can't even see it, right? You're walking by faith. You can't even see it. So how do you think people who are around you that you tell that you can't even see and you want them to believe you? So I learned very, very early on, close your mouth. Then I spoke it after it was manifested. But get ready, guys. Because if you think you're going through warfare now where God is taking you, and don't let it, let me be clear now, it's going to be rough, but don't let that deter you, because again, you're not fighting this time. See, you fought yourself back in the day, fought for yourself back in the days, right? Childhood, all that stuff. You don't have to fight now. You just have to stay aligned. You just have to stay aligned. But yes, things will come up against you. They're doing it already, honey. This is why you're going through all kind of crazy demonic attacks that you never went through before. You having all these nightmares, you know, your mind constantly pinging all over the place. Child, these people are playing out with some black magic and all kind of nonsense because they already see where God is taking you. But nothing will work. Nothing will touch you, regardless of what they do. Nothing will touch you. Point blank, period. So, I didn't even mean for this to be this long. How many minutes am I? Oh, 28. You guys have a great one. It's your girl.